What's up, gentlemen? I'm going to be talking about the message that Alex sent out recently, talking about their development news, talking about the level cap increase, all of the quality of life improvements, new animation system, and friends and guilds that we're going to be getting soon. First is actually the level cap increase. I'll be going over exactly what you get between level 41 and 46 later in this video. It's not following the same chunks of 5 that they've been doing, 41 to 46. So this will actually make doing things like the Dreadnought and the Kraken significantly easier, which, that's awesome. Quality of life improvements, this is kind of smaller, to be honest. Although the big part is you can optionally watch a ad for nanopods, like how it was back in the day, which is pretty awesome. The new animation system, this is going to be interesting. This is for the Plasma Mammoth and the Diamond Tank. It isn't known yet if this is going to be for current units that are in OG Battle Nations, but we know that this definitely will be for the newer units, such as the Plasma Mammoth and the Diamond Tank. And then, interestingly, they're talking about friends and guilds. They're laying the groundwork for getting all this stuff out. They said that they were going to be doing this in waves, so it's not going to be immediately all there. PvP, occupations, all of that stuff isn't immediately going to be in. Most likely they're going to start off with being able to add your buddies, and then at some point, probably a week or two later, they're going to be doing guilds. And then the rest of the stuff, kind of small. So starting off at 41, we have the Basilisk. The Basilisk, if I remember correctly, is a shitter unit. It is kind of like the Tempest, but you pay nanopods for it, and they're just not worth buying. Don't buy one of those. Then we have the Chem Trooper. Chem Trooper is kind of like the Flame Trooper, but it has a bit more health, does a bit more damage, does poison. It isn't terrible, but like I wouldn't rank it to 6. There are better units to rank to 6, and they're kind of expensive. Next up, we have Chemical Storage Facility and the Chemical Weapons Lab. These are both storage, makes you hold more. Weapons Lab unlocks all of the chemical units. I'd also like to say that both of these buildings give you vials for occupying them. Frontier Butcher is a really good shop. It does meat jobs. It's really good for gold, really good for XP. I suggest getting a couple of those. They're really solid. Now at level 42 we have the Chemical Sprinkler. I think you have to make one of those for a mission. It's not that good. It's kind of like a pillbox, except a bit better. Don't get a bunch of these, it's just not worth it. Next up we have the Dragon. It's an artillery fire unit. I believe these cost widgets to make. They have a checkerboard attack, kind of like a rocket truck, and they deal fire damage, but the damage is just, it doesn't make up for the fact that it takes widgets, and a lot of widgets at that. The Refinement Facility, which is a huge one. This lets you convert bars, gears, teeth, skulls into the respective tier 4 resource, which is widgets, laurels, powder, and necklaces. That's gonna be really fucking nice. And then the Unmanned Gun Turret. If I remember correctly, this was an actually like really solid and cheap unit to just have to clear formations. I was a big fan of them back in the day. Really interesting that we're getting those again. For 43, we have a bunch of decorative structures. Up next, Bio Grenadier isn't really that interesting. He's actually like a shit-ass unit, if I remember correctly. I mean, seriously, man, look at these damage values. They are abysmal. For 44, we have the Bug Zapper, which is another decoration, and then the Light Chemical Tank, which I'm really excited about getting those. They're not insane, but they're very solid, has a good amount of health, does a pretty good amount of damage. That DOT is pretty solid on it. although they are a little bit expensive. And then we got the Watchtower. The Watchtower is a nanopod defensive structure, if I remember correctly. It's not totally dog shit, but there's just not really a point in spending 45 nanopods on this thing. For 45, we have the Allied Skirmisher. The Allied Skirmisher isn't terrible, but I just feel like with where you're at in the game, it's not gonna be super useful. At rank 6, it does do a pretty good amount of damage with the hand cannon, but there's better units out there. Next up, we have the Fancy Mansion. It is a nanopod house. It costs 120 nanopods. I would just get a Morgan house. What is the point of getting this when you can get Morgan houses? Next up, we have the Heavy Chemical Tank, which is basically a better version of the Light Chemical Tank. It's pretty solid. I had one of these back in the day, and it was pretty good for level 45. I wouldn't get like 5 or 10 of these, but getting like 1 to 3 of them is a good idea. Imperial Peacemonger. It's interesting that we're getting this at level 45 when the missions where you're like pacifying the groups of rioters is like somewhere in the 30s. Kind of pointless to get. I don't know why it's level 45 when you unlock this. It should be like level 35. Unmanned flame turret just objectively is not as good as the machine gun turret, and it costs nanopods. Don't get one of those. And then finally, with 46, we have the electric fence. That is a decorative structure, that is not the unit. Lightning Dragoon, which, if I remember correctly, these were actually really good for friendly SP formations. Send a bunch of them to your friend's base, and then they clear them out, and they get a bunch of SP from it. And then we have the Lightning Trooper, which is very similar to the Lightning Dragoon, except they give you much less SP when you kill them. They take laurels to produce, and they do like a tiny bit more damage. They're not really worth making unless you have an obscene amount of laurels and just want to use them up, or if you're just a weirdo. And lastly, we have the Razor Wire Fence, which is just a decorative structure. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to talk about some of the other things that you unlock at level 46 and something you unlock at level 45. At level 45, you unlock the ability to rank the buoy to level 3, and actually it uncaps the ranks on it, so you can just get it all the way to level 6. And then with level 46, this lets us rank the M10, the Monster Grouper, the TAC Sub, and a lot of the other naval units to rank 4, which makes doing the Kraken and the Dreadnought significantly easier to do. That's honestly it for this video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, all of that business. I'll try to get some more content out to you guys soon with the new update coming out. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Oh, 10 health? Say less! Aw.